All right, just making sure. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Glad to be with you this morning. It is Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. Sorry, I had to make sure we put in my headphones here. Benjamin says, Carlos, all-time highs. We are not at all-time highs yet, but that would be nice. That would be nice. Back to the day, Wednesday, October 15th, 2023. Let's go ahead and take a look at futures. Dow futures up 66 points. We did have some data come in today with the PPI, and we had retail sales. We'll go over that here in a second. We are off the highs. We hit as high as 45.41 on S&P futures. We're at 45.24. Currently, NASDAQ hit 16,049, above 16,000. But again, we rejected rather quickly, probably due to the hotter than expected retail sales. Russell up about a quarter point, 1809. Had a big day yesterday. VIX 1417, down 0.07%. 104.24 on the dollar index. That is up 0.19%. 10-year Treasury yields 44.96. We hit below 4.5% yesterday, and the fact that we're still below it is actually a good sign. Crude oil down 1% this morning, 77.46. We are below the 200-day moving average. I'm looking at possibly 75 as a short. We'll probably talk about that here in a moment. So futures members, if you're watching, take a look at crude oil. Wednesdays, we know we have crude oil inventories. 78.23 is your 200. If we can get in and put a stop at 78, I think we can get to 75, guys. So let's take a look at crude oil for a short. That's what I'm looking at. So I know Nick is watching that. Kevin, you want to text Nick that? About the crude oil short? Yeah, crude oil short below the 200, 78.17. You could put a stop at the daily candle high, 78.61. The target would be 75. Sorry about that, guys. So again, I just wanted to go over that stuff. I just got a headline in as well from regarding AMD. AMD announced an advanced AI event on December 6th, starting at 1 p.m. I'll go ahead and actually type this up on our market blog so you can actually see it. Thank you to Stock Market News, Evan, for the heads up. And let's see if I can get this going. There we go. Here are guys. All right, here's the actual headline. AMD announced an advancing AI event on December 6th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. AMD will launch the next generation of AMD Instinct M1300 data center GPU accelerator family and highlight the company's growing momentum with AI hardware and software partners. So, yeah, AI is usually market moving these days, as we know. So, again, all the news direct to you on the Discord. You saw it live. Futures members, take a look at the chat room or the signals. I think we're going to go ahead and take a look at crude oil now. Moving on, gasoline futures down 2.47% this morning, $2.16. Gold futures are up marginally, 1968. That 2000 level, we're going to kind of keep that in our back pocket as a possible resistance point for the future. 2347 for gold, for silver, up 1.46%. Copper's up 0.60% as we continue trekking along to the $4 level that we're looking for. We're not long copper, but we want $4 to break to show at least some kind of construction. It's usually a good indicator of manufacturing. Euro dollar down 24 pips, 108.53. Dollar yen 150.84, up 45 pips, 136.86. Flat for the dollar Canadian dollar. And pound dollar 124.39, down about 58 points, 58 pips, 36,305. Welcome back, Bitcoin. We missed you last couple of days. Ethereum 2026 up 2% this morning. Let's go ahead and see. Let's see what the chat is saying. I feel we drop today and go sideways. Absolutely. I mean, we are green. I actually had that conversation with Nick, who runs the futures department with Kevin and Nick at GAR Capital. I do futures too, don't get me wrong, but I'm like laser focused on options right now. Obviously, I'm trying to be pretty much as perfect as I can, which is not an easy endeavor. But hey, if we can really knock down that options, and then we'll move on to perfect other things, obviously. In terms of ES 4500, really until you break below there, I don't see really anything to do, if I could be completely honest. We did tag a very important point of 1600. But when it comes to ES here, guys, 45.50 for a breakout, or that would be a target. And what would I mean by being a target? What you could do here is if you get to 45.10, maybe, I'm not feeling the best about that. I would say 4,500 zone. If you can get to 4,500, keep a stop around 44.80. You can even have 44.75. That's the trend line, maybe a retest. And then you go ahead and target 45.50. I do agree with Joseph here. I do think we'll get some sideways action. You're not going to go up every day, guys. Let's be real. How many times have you been here in the morning note where we've had some really ugly red days? October and September, August being sideways. So, people get prisoner of the moment. We're going to go, hey, we're going to just go forever. The moon, we're going to get there. 6,000 S&P by tomorrow. No, that's not going to happen. You start still getting some price discovery out there. Target had a great quarter as well. I posted that. So again, sticking with the S&P 500 here, 45.50, major target. That would be the September high zone. That's kind of what we're looking for as we trek higher. But what we want is obviously not just a short squeeze with a focus on certain names, the Magnificent Eight or the FANG names. You know the ones I'm talking about. Facebook, Apple, Netflix, NVIDIA, those names, the big tech boys. But what we're trying to wait for is to see if this rally expands to other sectors. Russell was up yesterday, very big. Short squeeze, sure, but we need some momentum in banks, which actually did very well as well. Again, we want to see more of that. NASDAQ being up is nice, don't get me wrong. But it can't be so concentrated. Those things are not sustainable. So 16,000 was the level I had as TP1. We were long NASDAQ yesterday and we caught it. So well done to the team. If we break above 16,046, at that point, how can you fight it? You're going to have to look at the next level being 273. And that was the level that we had back on the January 5th, excuse me. So that's where NASDAQ is. Let's go over the PPI numbers. All right, here we are on the blog. In terms of headlines, mortgage applications. I missed that. I'll get the mortgage applications out to you guys. PPI final demand. Here we are. PPI final demand down negative 0.5%. The consensus was 0.1%. PPI excluding food, energy unchanged 0.3%. Personal consumption down 0.6%. PPI final demand revised to 0.4% from 0.5%. So prices are falling down. Inflation's falling. You don't need me to confirm that with you guys. We saw CPI the last couple of months. Retail sales down 0.1%. Estimate was down 0.3%. Retail sales excluding auto month over month up 0.1% versus the estimate down 0.2%. The expectation was negative and it was actually positive. Retail spending fell last month for the first time since March. Americans are pulling back just as the holiday season comes around. In terms of the holiday season, what do I see? We just had Target report earnings as well. Let me get that. Let me get that for you guys. Okay, so 125.74. Take a look at the daily. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, Carlos, are we getting in Target? We still got to get above the 200-day, guys. But that's right around 140. But a very good start. 210 adjusted EPS, 25 billion revenue beats. EBITDA also beats. Comp sales was better than expected. Inventory ended 14% lower than a year ago. So their forecast for guidance was $1.90 to $2.60 a share versus the estimate of $2.23. So good on Target. That was expected. I think that kind of like IWM, Target has been beaten down so badly. So you get a short squeeze. This is what it is. So if you own Target, great. That's nice to see. But we need to see, again, above the 200 DMA at least. So I really want to just go over that. Let's see. Can we get let's see, Amazon, Tesla, CLH continued uptrend. All tech is going on an uptrend right now, Joseph. So, Tesla, we traded that yesterday. That was a big one. That was a great trade. We talked about that gap fill for a little bit. Did we fill the gap fill? Did we? I think we did. Did we fill that Tesla gap? Let's see. No, we did. We probably filled it overnight. 239.50. Yeah, we need 241.75 to fill that gap, guys. So again, if you have Tesla runners, cool. Now we have one more gap down to 225. Can we chart Palantir? Sure. Let's see it. Palantir, I need above 2024. You got a gap to fill here at 23.95. At 2024, guys, that's really the great price that you could really start buying a little more because you're at least worst case be back in this range here. And of course, I own Palantir. I love Palantir. I just think we're going to get to that gap fill at 24. So that'd be a nice swing trade for anybody who is interested in Palantir or want to be an investor in it. Again, that's up to you guys. We've loved Palantir forever, and we've been in the woodshed with that thing, and now it's bouncing, which is nice. 453 today. Meta 340 calls. Good. Brian, let's see it. Yeah, we hit Meta yesterday. 338.79. Yeah. Really, where I'm looking for is those highs. 350. So we can get a crack at Meta doing it again. Maybe we get above 340. We can do the 350 calls. But again, next week, guys, is Thanksgiving. I did open a trade yesterday. There was a lot of volume on this one. I don't know if the volume came up. Yeah, the 40 calls had around 27,000 in volume for Intel. That was part of our watch list as well. All we're looking for is a retest of the September highs, which is right around 40.09. We have the 40 strike. 42.65 is the gap fill. Again, you'd be just pretty much sticking with this resistance trend line here on Intel. So that is for next week. We filled that for next week. So let's see what we get on Intel. We were green as we closed. Used cars year over year have fallen. I tried to explain this yesterday to my friend. He's a little confused to how. Can you explain a little more? Yeah, really pricing, guys, at the end of the day, is supply and demand. So again, if people are buying used cars, people need cars, those prices are going to go up. And if there's a lot of supply of used cars and not a lot of demand, prices are just going to go down. What you have is just all the demand from COVID. I guess that's pretty much ringed down. COVID was 3 years ago, almost 4. So the idea of the expectation that we're just going to have the continued demand that we've had from 2021, that's not going to happen. 2020 was an anomaly in terms of what was bought and what wasn't bought. Restaurants were getting hit, but retail stores that are online were doing wonderful. Car sales were through the roof. We remember those days. I don't believe it was just a stimulus. I don't think 2 checks of, I don't remember how much the money was enough to get a used car. But again, used car prices will only go down if, as interest rates stay tighter. We may not get an increase in rates, but still rates are still relatively high in comparison to what they were 3 years ago, for example. So as those rates stay high, we'll probably see a tick up, or more than likely see a tick up in delinquencies in cars, for example, subprime. This is kind of a cycle, and that's going to bring used car prices down. I know that's why maybe some people have a little bit of a hesitancy in a name like Tesla, because are they a car company? Are they a tech company? Kind of the back and forth analogy that we use. If they're a tech company, they're pretty much priced pretty right for their growth. If they're an auto company, they're extremely expensive. But Tesla's kind of one of those anomalies where you can kind of use the macroeconomics in terms of car sales, used cars, does it affect them? We know that they cut down prices on Teslas as well. So that hurts current Tesla drivers, because now their value of their car, which is used, would be going down, because why would I want to buy a used Tesla if I could just buy a new one? So the easiest way to zoom balloon, honestly, is just to explain supply and demand. It's not rigged. It's just the reality. A lot of people say that California is too expensive to live in, because people want to live there. I mean, if people did not want to live in California, it would be empty and rents would be $10, for example. I mean, price always has to find that demand. At the end of the day, it's a sliding scale all the time. It's very dynamic. Everyone has a price, the saying goes. So do assets and so do objects. Good morning. Good morning. If you could take a look at Tilray. Oh, let's go to the weed names. Been a minute. Tilray, welcome to penny stock land. Let's go to 2 weeks. Daily. Yeah, I could see what you're seeing here, Scotty. Maybe if you get above 2, we could talk. There is a gap to fill at 293. Really basing everything here in terms of cannabis stocks are really based on one thing, and only has been the one thing really the past 7 years, 8 years. Is it going to get legalized federally? We don't know. We don't know until that day happens. It's the same thing as gambling. We've seen how sports gambling has exploded. We've seen how DraftKings has done well because the states are approving gambling. So really, until the expansion of legalization, cannabis stocks are going to be very restricted. That's just the reality until maybe another company buys them out, maybe. But those are just going to be trades for now on the hopes that we would get legalization. Plug power. Let's see it. Plug Power just joined penny stock land off their bad earnings. Well, the good news is if you're trying to trade Plug, you got a couple of gaps to fill. You got here at 586 and you got to here about 1035. A tough one, but it can be done and I've seen it been done. So if you're looking for a trade, yeah, I guess above 5, you can play the 6. In terms of investing in it, you're totally rolling the dice here. That was really bad earnings in terms of reaction. Yet Blink did absolutely wonderful. So, I mean, pick your horse at this point. If you expect the market to go higher due to lower interest rates, so more of these aggressive growth names are going to go, see the difference in pop, then yes, these are a couple of names that you probably want to keep on your radar. Are there better ones out there, alternatives? Sure. But if it's a lotto ticket you're looking for, yes, that would probably be the best bet if you're looking for more upside for the gap fill. That's really all you're looking for right now, right around 592. So if you want to roll the dice, go for it. Is it now a good time to buy SPY? Depends on your time frame. What's your time frame looking at? If you're looking at that I want to sell within next year, yes. If I want to sell within tomorrow, no. If I want to sell within by December, you can buy now. Yeah, I think so. You just will have one gap. You'll have a couple of gaps to fill. That's all. If we get that done, I just don't think buying on an uptick day is smart. A little bit of a pullback will be nice, but yes, I do expect us to go higher. Obviously. So again, depending on the time frame. If you're telling me buy SPY for Friday, no. Buy SPY for next December, hell yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Carlos. Have a great start to your day. Thank you. Google for the gap fill. Let's see it. Oh, I see it too. Did my alert break on Google? Yeah, not the best candle, obviously, but holding the 50. The problem is that now you have a gap fill here around 132.63, but you still have this one here at 137. So you're really at the midpoint on Google. I'd actually trade GOOG. And did my alert break? No. Now you're between two gaps here, actually three. Tough one here on Google. I would probably stay away from that name for now. I think there's better setups like on a Meta. Tesla has the gap to fill too. Apple looks pretty good. We were looking at the 190s before. Yesterday was a really nice day with Meta and Tesla. We also caught Amazon for masterclass. So we really didn't want to rush into anything. We do have those intels, but that's for next week. So we bought a lot of time, and there was unusual options activity in terms of volume. So I think I'm okay with just sticking with what we got. Maybe we get a consolidation period here a little bit, kind of like a Monday, where we're just kind of, digesting the market. Let's see what we get. That's all we're looking for. I expect a strong Santa rally now. Absolutely. I do believe that Santa will be coming to town. I've been saying all-time highs, but we'll see what happens, right? This is why we're here every day, to see if I'm wrong. That's the fun part. We'll go and leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your morning. Thank you again for watching the video. Please like these videos if you like them. Comment any of your questions. I'd love to answer them. And of course, thank you for your feedback as always. We will see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.